Have you ever left a store feeling like you got a great deal, only to realize later you bought something you didn't even need? Or why does one piece of negative news ruin your entire day even if you've had 10 good things happen? It's not a coincidence. It's because your decisions, your emotions, your money are being invisibly controlled by psychological hacks designed to bypass your logical mind. These hacks are used by marketers, negotiators, and even your friends every single day. Stop giving away your freedom. Here are the 5 hidden psychological hacks that control your everyday life. The first hack is called the Decoy Effect. Imagine you want a large soda for $5, but the vendor also offers a medium for $4. You hesitate. Then, the vendor introduces a decoy, an impossibly small soda for $4.50. Suddenly, the $5 large soda looks like an unbelievable steal. The decoy wasn't meant to be purchased. It was only there to push you toward the intended more expensive option. The hack is simple. Your brain doesn't calculate value in a vacuum. It calculates value through comparison. By introducing an inferior or overly expensive third choice, the controller gives you a comparison point that makes the original option look irresistible. You aren't buying the soda because it's worth $5. You're buying it because it looks cheap compared to the absurd decoy. Always eliminate the third option. Only compare 2 choices at a time. This hack is why the first number you hear dictates the price you pay. It's called anchoring bias. Imagine you walk into a negotiation, and the other party immediately throws out an absurd starting number, $50,000. That number, no matter how ridiculous, has just become the anchor. Your brain now treats every subsequent number as an adjustment away from that $50,000, not an adjustment from the real value. You think you're winning by negotiating them down to $40,000, but they were planning to pay $30,000 all along. The hack works because our minds hate complexity. We rely on the first piece of information to set a baseline. The only way to win is to set the anchor yourself or, when facing a ridiculous anchor, reset the conversation entirely by focusing the discussion back on objective value. Don't negotiate from their starting point. Negotiate from your established baseline. The third hack relies on your powerful need to maintain a consistent self-image. It's known as commitment and consistency, or the foot-in-the-door technique. First, you agree to a small request, filling out a quick survey, wearing a small sticker, or signing a petition. Your mind says, I am the kind of person who supports this cause. Later, the controller comes back with a much larger, related request, donating $50 or volunteering for an entire weekend. Because you already committed to the tiny action, you feel intense pressure to agree to the large one to remain consistent with the identity you just established. You were manipulated not by the request itself, but by your own desire to avoid looking flaky. The defense is to ask yourself, would I agree to the big request first? If the answer is no, then the initial small commitment should also be no. The framing effect proves that the exact same information can lead to opposite decisions, purely based on how it's presented. This is deeply rooted in our fear of loss. For example, a surgeon tells you there is a 90% chance of success, a gain frame. You feel optimistic. Another surgeon tells you there is a 10% chance of failure, a loss frame. You feel panicked. These are mathematically identical statements, but you react entirely differently. The hack uses the fact that our brains weigh avoiding losses twice as heavily as achieving gains. Marketers always frame a purchase as a gain. Get this feature, and not buying as a loss. You will miss out. The defense is to reframe the information yourself. If they give you a gain, 90% success, mentally flip it to the loss, 10% failure, to balance your emotions. Always ask for the inverse. These hacks are powerful, but only if you are ignorant of them. Recognizing the decoy, the anchor, the pressure of consistency, the fear of framing, and the pull of the crowd is the first step toward freedom. Stop being an autopilot and start being the pilot. That is your Savvy Spectator mindset reset. The final hack is the most widespread, social proof. When we are unsure how to act, we look to the actions of others to validate our choice. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend isn't a medical proof. It's a psychological hack. When you see 1,000 5-star reviews, a crowded restaurant, or a trending topic, the bandwagon effect kicks in. Your brain assumes the risk has been outsourced to the crowd. This hack is why likes, comments, and follower counts hold so much power. They are shortcuts that allow us to bypass critical analysis. The defense is to remember, the crowd is usually wrong. The greatest insights and decisions are made by going against the flow. Ask yourself if you would make this exact choice if you were the only person on Earth making it.